Hello, students. My name is Dr. Azmat Ali. I'm from RDS College, Bihar University. In this particular lecture, we are going to discuss the religious policies of Mughal Emperor Jalaluddin Muhammad Akbar. Before we discuss the religious policies of Akbar, one thing is very important to learn is that during medieval times, the emperor has the ultimate authority, so it will be very difficult to differentiate between his personal beliefs and the state policies that he followed. In the similar fashion, during Akbar's phase, we will see that his personal beliefs also coincided with these state policies. So, how did his religious policy evolved in India? That's a very interesting question. Akbar did nothing new. He carried forward the tradition of eclecticism followed by his Turco Mongol ancestors in Central Asia. And then in India, to a large extent, religious tolerance was followed by Babur and the father of Akbar, Humayun. They all followed the same practice where they allowed all religions to flourish in their dominion. Akbar did the same thing. However, when we see that in during Akbar's time, we find that there is a phase, there is a gradual evolution of his religious policies. It doesn't come out in final shape in the beginning itself, but it gradually evolves as Akbar matures in age and experience. His religious policy is also shaped initially, but it's true that since the very beginning he exhibited or he reflected those tolerant traits. He abolished jizya, he abolished pilgrimage tax, he married Rajput princes without converting them to Islam, and then when he abolished jizya, there was a lot of noises, a lot of voices coming from all quarters that what emperor is doing. But he said that Hindus are also integral part of India, and so therefore they have right to exist and practice whatever they like, and therefore the advancement of all religions in his empire is a necessity to make an integrated India, a very united Mughal empire. Initial phases will be divided from 1563 to 1573. Akbar behaved as a tolerant emperor, and then from 1573 to 1780, which is the second phase, and then from 1581 to 1605 when Akbar died. In the first phase, 1563 to 71, Akbar was very tolerant, abolished jizya, abolished pilgrimage tax, and allowed the princesses, Hindu princesses, to practice their own faith. Now, when we come to 1573 to 1580, it's a very important phase because it sees a lot of introspection on the part of the emperor because of the fact that since Akbar was so strong in this particular phase, he achieved victories against Uzbeks. He achieved victories in Malwa, in Gujarat, in Rajasthan. So he became extremely strong, and then he had the leisure. He had the freedom of mind, peace to think about his own ideas, and he started. He went into the phase of introspection when he started inquiring about other religions, about his own religions, about Quran, about Hadith, about ideas on Sufism, Tawheed, and etc. And the sole purpose of this was that he wanted to ascertain the truth, and his curiosity reached to a stage where he established a quarter, a house called Ibadat Khana in Fatehpur Sikri in 1575, where he invited, first of all, he invited ulemas of the Muslim communities and his attendants to take part in discussions and debates. He found that ulemas started, sort of arguing with each other and starting having heated debates and exchanges when Akbar didn't like it, but he perhaps thought that when he invites people of other religions also, this problem will be solved. But when he invited people from other faiths like Hindus, Zoroastrians, Christians, and then the problem actually was aggravated. The interreligious kind of debates and discussions often went to an extent when people of ulemas and religious scholars of one religion started abusing, and even to the extent that some of them hurled negativity against the Prophet Muhammad and questions the revelation of Quran and Hadith also. So earlier, when ulemas were invited, at least there was some unity of thought that Islam is the divinely ordained religion, Quran is a revelation of God, and Prophet Muhammad is a prophet sent by God. This was earlier accepted by ulemas, but when the people of other religions came, they didn't even accept this, and they started fighting among each other. This led to a tremendous displeasure of the emperor, who actually ordered the closure of Ibadat Khana in 1578, and he passed on a decree called Mahzar, in which he attained the power of accepting interpretation of various kinds. Now, in 1581 to 1605, Mahzar is a controversial document, but Akbar, seeing the differences, realized that there is an element of truth in all the religions, and therefore he would devise a means where he would have the power of interpretation or power of accepting the interpretation for unity and the peace in the dominion. So Mahzar was, according to some very great historians, was an effective declaration of Sulh Kul. So, seeing the differences among different communities, Akbar's mind went to the idea of Sulh Kul, Tawheed Ilahi. He established his own order, a kind of own order, when he believes that there is a absolute coexistence of all the religions, and he believed in peace for all the religions. So, in later phases, he kind of drifted from the ulema, from the traditional religious thinking, and went to the path of more eclectic ideas where he believed in monotheism, Tawheed Ilahi, and then he started worshipping sun and fire, putting a tika on his head, and sort of kind of distance himself from the traditional dogmas and ideas and preachings of the ulemas. So Akbar became completely different person in the last phase in 1581 to 1605. So to conclude, Akbar at the end followed a Sulh policy which will be good for all the religions, and he slowly drifted from traditional religious teachings, and he created space for all the religions in his dominion. If you have a question, please ask your questions. Thank you very much.